realizing I wasn't dreaming. Walked right out and never said goodbye. Dare you leave me here with everything that we created? Chose to run with selfishness inside. Never thought that it would get to what it's all become. Giving up on everything we've done. Honey, I've got news for you. I think you chose wrong. My future's bright and I don't care if you see what's going on. Damn it, I do. I want you to bleed the way I did. I'm no longer part of your game. I'll never be the same, no. Well, I got stuck in your world, realizing I stopped believing. Talked me out of thinking I was right. Cared too much to leave you, but everything we had was faded. Chose to run with foolishness and pride. Never thought that it would get to what it's all become. Giving up on everything we've done. Honey, I've got news for you. I think you chose wrong. My future's bright and I don't care if you see what's going on. Damn it, I do. I want you to bleed the way I did. I'm no longer part of your game. I'll never be the same. Now that I can see through your false reality, chose to walk away from our home. I was shocked to admit that you took too long to quit. And baby, now I'm gone. Honey, I've got news for you. I think you chose wrong. My future's bright and I don't care if you see what's going on. Damn it, I do. I want you to bleed the way I did. I'm no longer part of your game. I'll never be the same. Honey, I've got news for you. I think you chose wrong. My future's bright and I don't care if you see what's going on. Damn it, I do. I want you to bleed the way I did. I'm no longer part of your game. I'll never be the same, no.
And welcome everybody to the Hooch. We've got Rod Rodriguez and a black screen of Michael. No worries, he will be here. He's all black today. They'll fix it.
Because I'm black.
He's totally black. But yeah, at least you get to see Rod. So like you got me and him on here today. So Rod, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself with the After Action Review.
What's up, everyone? I'm Rod Rodriguez with the After Action Review Podcast. It's a podcast dedicated to veteran entrepreneurs. So I talk to veterans. I talk to veterans who are starting their own small business, whether it's for-profit, nonprofits, artists, musicians, you name it. If they're doing something in the entrepreneurial world, I talk to you.
Awesome. Hey, and Mike, go ahead and introduce everybody around the room. Who do we got today?
Shit, we have. Oh, of course we have Big Boy Kai.
I mean, everyone knows Big Boy Kai.
He can eat the whole table here, but
You can totally eat the whole table.
First off,
we have
it's
Ryan.
like just the first course.
We have Ryan Dino from American Trigger Pullers.
What's up, guys?
Tell us.
Tell us what?
Tell us
About
about
your company.
Yeah, tell us about
Oh, American Trigger Pullers, man. A bunch of us guys started the company, and we're here for everybody else. So next,
It's
And my
like
buddy
it's like
Eric-
high school
Eric-
all over again right now.
it's like high school all over again, man. We're just here for everybody else, man. We show our support.
And I have my buddy Eric Campana, who I work with.
Yo. How's it going? Anyway, so you also got me, Koi Mack, host of the show, and today the question of the day is going to be, if you could go back in history and punch anyone in the face, who would it be?
Oh shit.
Damn it,
Who would you pick? Who are we doing?
Well, let's get our guest. So Eric, who would you punch in the face? Like literally.
Show and tell now, gentlemen. Show and tell.
Who would you punch in the suck?
Like just
Like
straight
straight
up.
up.
Right,
Right
right in the bread
Face for, like,
basket.
Fucking Ryan the Dick,
Yeah.
Hitler.
That's an
Hitler.
easy
Hitler.
one. God, that's easy.
Of course, that's easy, man.
That's a good one.
Hitler.
You know,
Try
I
again.
I got a surprise
Yeah.
one for you. This is what I would do. I would go back into the silent movie eras and punch Charlie Chaplin right in the dick while he's on film. Like that would be great. I would be immortalized for the next 100 years for being the guy that punched Charlie Chaplin right in the cock.
I can say something unsilent.
Just the face he would make, it would be so animated.
He's the only one that makes noise.
It would be very,
Right.
it would be very expressive for sure.
Oh, absolutely. You know.
You know, can I go with two people punching two people in the dick?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's go for it.
The first
Big
one's
man,
going to be
two
Muhammad.
choices.
Oh yeah.
I'd punch Muhammad because without him, we wouldn't have Muslim extremists.
Ooh,
And then I'd punch Joseph Smith because, well,
because
motherfucking Joseph.
So you're basically going back into punching religious figures. That's cool. I mean, I
I mean,
guess.
Joseph Smith's not a religious figure.
Joseph,
I mean, he saw
Joseph
Catholic
Smith
faith.
is. He totally started the Mormon religion. Like,
No,
that's a
he's
religious
not.
figure.
It's not a religion. It's a cult.
Okay, fine, whatever. Either way, he found golden tablets in the woods somewhere.
Anyone else see these golden tablets?
Nobody has ever seen the golden tablets. You know this, Mormon. Jesus, you're a bad one at that.
I know a lot.
You Jew, you Mormon Jew.
Who would you punch?
Yeah.
Let me think.
Rod,
I don't know. I'm trying to think who I would actually punch in history.
Right.
There's so many people that deserve a good punch.
That is
So
absolutely true.
many.
True,
So
true
true.
statement, man.
So very true.
Man,
In the suck. You know what I mean? Like right in the bread basket. You know what
right,
I mean?
Right.
right in the grillage. Right in the grillage.
Right here on the bottom.
Like, you're gonna send your teeth across the
Just
room.
Right there.
Come on, who would you punch directly in the fucking suck?
Do you have a former Blue Falcon in your platoon that you knocked the fuck out, or?
Well, we're talking about history. When you
We're
say
talking about
history, you don't
history.
mean like last week, do
Yeah,
you?
I mean, if you want to go last week,
20
sure, let's hear
minutes
it, let's
ago.
hear it.
Oh,
Let's
shit.
hear it.
Historically, you can go back 100 years ago. Who would you punch?
Can I punch a dinosaur?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that
Why
okay?
not?
Is that
I don't know.
acceptable?
I don't know.
I would
why
punch
we
a dinosaur.
Yeah, why wouldn't we punch a dinosaur?
Yeah,
As long as
I'd punch a raptor. I would punch a raptor and then immediately jump back into my time machine and get the fuck out of Dodge. Because you only do that once.
Wait,
do
where
that-
would you punch the raptor? Are you gonna like do it like in the snout, or are you gonna like go in for like a body blow? You're gonna just come up and, you know, like how are we doing this?
Two options on this raptor. One, I punch it right in the snout. It has no idea what just happened. I came out of a machine. Ka-ka! I'm out. Option two, I'm familiar with raptor anatomy and I know where its sensitive balls are. And I get right in its raptor nuts, wherever that might be. It falls over, looks at me with the equivalent of a raptor Y.
Oh, good. Okay.
That
Well,
would satisfy my time traveling punching.
I
That's a
think
great
I think Rod wins the question of the day, like hands down. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. So Rod, you come on with us to talk and chat with us a little bit, but I want to hear more about how you got started into podcasting. Tell us some of the things that you found troublesome with getting started.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I came on the show exclusively to plug myself and
That's fine. Shameless plug away.
shamelessly promote my podcast. Now, I started off doing this podcast because, I'm a veteran. I was in the Army I was active duty for over 10 years, and then I did the National Guard gig. Thank you all for your services. Shit.
Thank you.
No, sir, thank you. Let's play this game for the next 20 minutes. It's going to be fun.
No, that's what they did at the State of the Union with claps. I can't do that. I'm sold out on clapping.
I'm gonna do what everybody else did.
Not
Just
clapping.
clapping.
I find political events like that to be public masturbation. That's all it is. It's just public masturbation.
Especially since Trump last night was totally clapping for himself. Like, did you see that? He was literally clapping for himself.
Yeah. So when I was at work this morning, I didn't watch the State of the Union, and I only watched a clip of it from work, and it was on mute. And all I saw Trump doing was this. And I was like, I understand everything he's saying, and I didn't hear a thing.
Right.
I get what you're saying right off the bat. But anyways, yeah, I'm a veteran. I've always been interested in promoting veteran causes. And I always wanted to own a business. Like I've always been interested in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
But I was raised to believe that business know-how, being an entrepreneur is secret sauce. Like you either know it or you don't. If you don't, you'll never know it. And I stopped believing that. I was like, people know more than what I'm being led to believe. And I actually got hired on to a company it was a startup company, nothing but vets. And it was the coolest thing because they were all former Rangers, all former Special Forces. We had a former CAG Sergeant Major who worked at this company. And I watched these guys go out there and wheel and deal, and they'd be like, yeah, we're going to pick up this government contract. We're doing this, and we can do that. And I'm like, whoa, these guys are hot shit, right? Mm-hmm. The door closes, and they're like, how the fuck do we do this?
Exactly.
And I'm like, you guys have no idea what you're doing? Like, oh, hell no. We have no idea how to do that. But we're going to figure it out. And I was like, this is so badass. Like, you just sealed a 7-figure deal, and you have no idea how you're going to do this.
Wow.
But we made it happen. Mm-hmm. That was the cool part. Like long hours, lots of research, but shit, it happened.
Yeah, you made it happen. You made it work.
Made it work.
I know Dino over there is
a problem solver.
Yeah, exactly. Dino's a entrepreneur himself, and he understands all the perils of going into the business world. Like feeding off of what Rod just said. I mean, how's your experience been? As an entrepreneur, as a veteran, dealing not doing a podcast but doing shirts.
Dude, it's been up and down, man. It's always been up and down. But you surround yourself around like-minded individuals that believe in the same mission that you do, and being with ATP has done exactly that, and that's what it's all about. Like we're here for everybody and anybody that believes in that dream of starting a company and doing something with themselves and making it happen. If I can help you, if we can help you, we're going to make it happen. So, I don't know. There's a... Say again?
No, Mike's messing with his phone again.
Of course he is. Like, squirrel.
Right.
But that's funny. That's really funny because this whole journey into podcasting for entrepreneurs was part interest, but it was also very, very selfish. I had a very selfish ends to this because I wanted to know how the smartest people that talked like me, that came from my background, how they were doing it.
Yep.
There's a difference between talking to Dino from ATP, for example, and talking to a civilian who's running he could be running $7 million company, but he's got a different perspective on everything. He's got a very different life. He's got a different lens by which he's interpreting the world. Guy like Dino, that's a veteran. That's a guy who's going to see things through the lens of red, white, and blue. He's coming at it with integrity. He's coming at it with a different sense of purpose, Right. So by talking to other vets, I was just trying to figure it out. Like, okay, how did you do that? Okay, cool. I'm going to learn how to do. How'd you do that? And how'd you do that?
No, and I did that. In 2015, I started a business where I was just Cerakoting. All I wanted to do was paint rifles. Period. The end. That was my therapy. I wanted to go hobby in the garage and paint guns that people were going to go out on the range with and have a good time with. They got a personal. They got something that wasn't done by just anybody or some big name. I wasn't trying to be a big name. We're not trying to be a big name. We just wanted to paint guns and see our boys out there with rifles that we painted. And it's a learning lesson. It's a progression. Some things happened throughout that road, and it brought me on this journey to where, me and my Ranger buddies are now. We have a company that we believe in, and we're trying to pay it forward. We're trying to give guys. It's not about us, man. It's about the tribe. Period. The end. It's about the tribe. We want to make sure that we're veterans supporting veterans. We're a group of guys that want to make sure that you're okay. If you need something from us, we're going to give it back to you. Period. The end. If you have any ulterior motives outside of that, you can go fuck yourself. Sorry for saying that, but that's not what we're about. Yeah, that's not what we're about. We're about taking care of the boys. For too long, I think what's become of it has become people being selfish, and that's not what we were trying to be, man. Like this company, ATP, is based on taking care of our own and paying it forward.
And you see,
we have to pay it forward.
What Dino's saying is exactly why I think people need to understand what a veteran is all about. So, for example, veterans, we are the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs in the country.
That's true. I mean, it's an unprecedented level. Like, you look at back after World War II, we're in that kind of level of entrepreneurship and education. Like, vets are getting out and getting educations. Like, they're becoming masters and PhD, laureates. Like, that's what they're doing right now. Or they're making a business. Even if they're not going to school, they're using their GI Bill, they're using their funding for trade schools, they're using it for something else that is actually going to be, good for everything. And that's great.
And a lot of us were senior NCOs that are getting out, and we're trying to figure out things for the world for the first time again. The biggest.
Uh-oh.
Where do I stand? What do I do?
Okay, there you go.
There you are. Yeah.
Everyone's making a t-shirt business. Everyone's doing this business. Everyone's doing that. But we want to incorporate, like, hey, how can I help you? I don't have to be this big thing. I just want to make sure you're okay. I want to protect my buddy. I want to protect exactly who you are. Hey, you have a dream? Cool. How do I help you fucking achieve it? Period. The end.
Exactly.
Shit, you could be training dogs, or you could be.
I don't know how many. I've met a couple. Actually, you know what? That's right. I've met a couple of them.
Water basket weaver.
Yeah, like I've met a couple of actual dog trainers recently. It wasn't too long ago, but I hear what you're saying, especially that, like, especially today, like with Mike and I, like we starting this podcast up and starting this brand business is, the best way to put it is like we want to be something that people can come on to and we can, talk with us, like having Ron on, having, Dino on, and Kai.
Absolutely.
Richard, like having everybody on to BS with your friends. Like that's basically at the core of the show. That's what I wanted, is us to come on, talk with each other, and just bullshit like we did when we were deployed. Talk about everything, man.
Yep.
I'll tell you what's one of the coolest things about running this podcast. And, it started off just learning from different people. But what I started discovering was that these different guests that I was talking to, they were blowing my mind. They were really bringing a lot more to the table, especially when I started inquiring about the things that affected me. So, for example, I'll tell you, like the last couple of episodes that have been done, it was incredible. Not just the coincidences that occurred that got these people on the show, but it was like they were dropping little hints of knowledge that I needed. One guy was talking about, seriously. One of my guests was talking about how to get sponsorships. I'm like, I'm trying to find sponsorships. Right. One of these guys was talking about the fear of failure, and I'm like, I have a fear of failure that
Yeah,
I'm
we all
trying
do.
to conquer.
We all do. We all do, man.
And especially when it comes to business, that fear of failure can really paralyze.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, one of the biggest things, especially for me, when like I got started, before I even got started doing the Hooch, was I put it off for so long. I kept getting told, like, I kept doing rants and I kept doing a whole bunch of things and speaking my mind. And it's like, well, why don't you start a YouTube? Why don't you start a podcast? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And it's like, no, because like it wasn't that I didn't want to. It was just I was afraid that I was gonna mess it up. I was gonna fail, and that it wasn't gonna be any good and nobody be watching. But like, what I've realized recently is that that's not true. People like what we're doing. People like watching our show. People like listening to us, and like getting that feedback. It just fuels you, you know, as an entrepreneur.
Dude, what
knowing
I've learned in life is that our successes are a group of our failures.
Yep.
Our successes are a group of our failures. We're going to fail a lot throughout this whole entire journey, and then it's the journey that makes.
And that happened.
What you're doing.
Uh-oh.
And you can't forget what your roots are. So as long as you keep doing that, like, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
So I know Ryan, he recently had the CEO from Grunt Style on. How did that go?
Yeah. How was that interview?
That guy is super crunk for grunt style.
Super crunk.
You
Shit.
super crunk for grunt style, and that's how you gotta be.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
gotta be that. If you aren't your company's biggest fan, you
If
will
you're not
not.
motivated,
Oh yeah.
and you can't motivate others to look at something that's so great, then
Just
I'll
ask,
tell you-
just ask Mike. Like we do the same thing. Like every day, it's nothing but what's next for the Hooch? What are we doing next for the Hooch? Like building the website, getting the base, talking to people. Like we're
Oh, dude.
constantly working at it.
I work 6 to 2.
Yep.
I come home, and I like today. Perfect example. Today, 6 to 2. I got home at 2:30. I have not left this chair. I haven't
Dang.
left this chair, and it's almost 10 o'clock here in Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is. But let me tell you something about Dan Alaric. Let me tell you something about that CEO Grunt Style. He did something that no other guest has done.
What was that?
And we spent an hour together, and we went through the questions, and he was really engaging and really friendly. And I said, "Okay, man, that's a wrap. We're done." And he sits back in his chair. He goes, "Let me ask you a question. You've talked to a lot of other veteran entrepreneurs. You've talked to a lot of other CEOs." I'm like, yeah, I have. He says, "What makes them successful?" This dude is asking me for the inside track on what makes other CEOs successful.
Wow.
This stuck out to me. Because I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, last year you made over $100 million, and you still
Out the
want
door.
to know.
Out the door.
You still want to know
Wow.
what you can do to become better at what you do.
That's
And I
exactly
sat
right.
there and I told him what these other CEOs have shared with me. And it's no big secret, but I think for him it was more or less like, okay, I'm
We
doing
strive for
what I'm supposed to
perfection.
be doing.
You know, one of the people that I really like, I really enjoy watching is Gary Vee. Like, if you haven't seen any of his
Yeah.
videos, like that's one of the things he puts out is like, look, just work. Like, there's no secret to success. Put in the time, treat it as a job, do it, love it, take your passion and monetize it. You know, like a lot of people like to talk crap about live streamers, for instance, and gamers. They're monetizing what they're passionate about. There's no reason they should be ashamed of that. They're making money off of what they love to do. The same thing like what we're doing. We're trying to make money off of what we love to do, which is talking to everybody, talking to you guys, getting people on and talking, like having a talk show. That's what we're passionate about. Same thing with you, Rod. You're passionate about finding these people and learning from them and hearing what they have to say. And that's great to know.
And I'll tell you what you're talking about right there. Monetization has been my biggest problem.
Right.
As an entrepreneur, and I'm very open about that. I will be the first person to talk about where my deficiencies lie as a business owner. So the podcast, the After Action Review podcast, I'm an LLC.
Right.
So it's the After Action Review LLC. The podcast is just part of it. I got plans. I want to do bigger things, but
Absolutely. You always push further.
you always want to push further. But here's my problem: is I am my own worst critic.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man.
I look at my podcast and I go, not good enough.
No.
And
I do that every
here's
time I
the-
write. Every time.
And here's the thing Coin and I always do. We're always trying to reinvent something.
Yeah.
You know, we look at videos, we're like, dude, that shit was shitty. You know, we
Yeah.
look at
How
it,
can we make
though
that
we're
better?
getting likes and we're getting clicks, we're always looking at it, you know, not saying it's the greatest video ever. Oh, it's got 10,000 fucking reaches. We're looking at it like,
No,
we
but
can do
everything's an
better.
after action review.
Yeah.
You want to be better. You want to
Yeah.
perform better. You want to
Yeah.
make something better.
Yep.
So anytime you do something, you come together and you're like, hey, how can we make this better? How can we do something different? How can we do something that's 110% and then some?
Yeah, and if you haven't watched this guy, you know, Eric Dubay, you know, Rod probably knows who he is. So Eric Dubay put out this video, and it was called "How to Leave Your Slave Job." You know, and he was talking about being an entrepreneur. And I watched this video, dude, and it spoke to me so much. And I was just like, dude, this dude speaks so much truth in this video. Even though a lot of people don't agree with Eric Dubay and what he talks about, you know, Eric Dubay is a flat earther guy who pushes that. But
Damn flat
but
earthers.
he did put out this video about how to leave a slave job and the steps you have to do. And what he was saying, dude, I was like, holy shit, I've already met like 4 of those fucking steps.
Yeah. It makes
I've
all
already
sense.
met. It makes sense to me.
doesn't it?
Does
I've
make
met
sense.
those fucking steps.
Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
So
It-
holy
like-
shit, I'm doing that.
Exactly. Like I've been saying, there's no magic formula. You know, you just got to
No.
do, man. Like you got to do every day, do it all the
I'm
time.
a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You put in the work.
and here's the thing, you know, with Rod's platform, you know, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you're not out there fucking working every fucking day, if you work your 9 to 5 like Rod and I do, Coin and I do, and everyone in this room does, if you're not out there after you get off and you're not out there driving yourself to build your brand, it's not going to fucking work. You know, I
Yeah.
come home just like I work from 6 to 2, just like Rod does. I come home, I'm on my fucking computer, I'm doing stuff every fucking day. Coin and I text each other back and forth through Facebook. We're texting each other constantly, writing,
Yeah.
you know,
Story
texting
ideas.
each other.
What we're doing next. What's the next thing we need to be doing? Like all day.
And if you're not doing that, if you want to build something and you're not out there building yourself,
You're in a
no one's
stalemate.
you're in a
Investing in
stalemate.
yourself too. That's the big thing.
Invest in yourself. Here in our studio, Coin and I talk about this all the time. We started off with one mic
It's one microphone. Yeah.
sitting in the middle of our fucking table. Now we have fucking 4 mics, 3 cameras, you know, everything. So we're constantly investing in ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you're
Investing
not
ourselves in our
investing-
business.
Don't expect anyone to invest in you.
Yeah.
Let-
That's
let me-
absolutely true.
Let me tell you, I started off with one microphone. I started off with a Yeti, a little Yeti,
Yep.
and let me tell you how I bought that Yeti. I had no job. I was doing my master's program. I was doing an internship, so no money. And me and my girlfriend at the time, she was supporting this podcast idea. So she finds this microphone on Craigslist for $60, man. So we're scrounging up what little money we got. We're gonna go buy this stupid mic, and we send this guy the email, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll meet you at a McDonald's on over by Rancier in
Yeah.
Killeen."
Oh
so-
man.
We meet this guy, and he's a fucking crackhead. Okay, he comes in, he's like, "Yeah, hey man, yeah, I'm, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" So you got the microphone? He's like,
Here
"Yeah,
we
here's
go.
So he gives me the mic, and I
Here
pay the
we
man.
go.
And I'm like, "Hey man, this isn't stolen, is it?" No, I bought it for legit. I'm like, "Was there anything wrong with it?" He goes, "Nah, I bought it. Just turns out, I rap like garbage, so I got to get rid of it." So yeah, he raps like garbage.
Mike raps like garbage too.
I can't rap.
You rap.
But that's
I'm
how I
black. I
started.
can't rap.
That's how it started. One crackheads Yeti mic, and we're off to the races, man. I had to teach myself how to edit audio, taught myself how to edit video. And I'm so glad you brought up Gary Vee, because I'll tell you right now, if you are not watching Gary Vee and you're sleeping on it, you're wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Wrong. That guy
100%.
What separates him
Legit.
from the snake oil salesman and this, like, what I value more than cars is knowledge. That douchebag, I'll tell you, he tells you how it is, and he tells you for real how it's going to be. It's going to suck. You're going to work an 18-hour day. You're not going to spend. You know what he said that struck me the most was, he says, everybody talks about sacrifice. Oh, you got to sacrifice this. He says, nobody talks about sacrificing shit they don't care about.
Yep.
What you're sacrificing is putting your son to sleep. You're sacrificing going to the park with your kids. You're sacrificing going bowling with your buddies. You're sacrificing drinking that beer.
Amen.
Let me tell you, when you're putting 18 hours of work into something,
Yep.
all you want to do is sleep. That's it.
No kidding.
I want
It's too
4
easy to
hours
go to
of
sleep and stay up and work.
and that's what it's all about. That's what this is about.
And to any entrepreneurs out there that are listening, just understand, man, that if you're not out there every day, like on the grind, trying to build a product, trying to reinvent yourself, because being an entrepreneur, your product, you're always trying to reinvent it. Not everything works. So you can put out something, it doesn't work. When we put out podcasts or videos, if it doesn't get hits, maybe we shouldn't have done that. Right. So you're reinventing what you have to do. So your mind has to always be working. So my ass doesn't get no sleep at night. My wife is like, you're always up. I'm like, I don't sleep at night. I really don't. Because my mind is always trying to figure out new ways of putting out content.
Right.
So get out there. Don't sleep. It sucks. Don't sleep. But
believe in it. Drive forward.
Yeah.
Drive forward.
And
Assault
believe in what
forward.
you have to do.
Fuck the naysayers, man.
But to
just drive forward.
Yeah, but to segue, Coy, what else were we talking about?
Yeah, we're at that halfway point that we actually have to switch on. But kind of closing this out, I'd like to say that you're never too old to start it. You're never too old to continue working. You're never too old to live your passion, live your dream. You just have to put the fucking time in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to say one more thing on the subject of entrepreneurship, and I want this to hopefully sink in with some people that might be watching. They're thinking about starting their own business, or they're a veteran and they're like, I'm going to go out there and do this one thing. Be original.
Yeah.
Be original.
Absolutely. Amazing.
Don't go out there and think that you're going to sell bullshit. I see it all the time. I see it on Facebook. I see it on Instagram. They bought into Gary Vee's self-branding. I 100% believe in personal branding. I am the After Action Review podcast.
Right.
But here's what I'm not going to tell you I can do. I am not going to pretend like I can make you $1 million in 6 weeks. Buy my program. I'm not going to convince you that I am a special forces guy. I never was. I was an Intel dork. I am still an Intel dork. But there are so many people out there right now that are not lying, but they're certainly not telling you the full truth. They're playing the part of, I am a trigger puller. Bro, you were a cook.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a badass operator. You did 2 years.
I stroked tubes. That's what I did. I put explosives in them and then I let them go. They flew.
And to kind of bite off what Rod was saying is that you get a lot of veteran groups out here who promote being a trigger puller, who promote being a combat vet, who promote being all this. But don't think because you're not a combat vet or you wasn't a trigger puller, you can't get out here and do something these guys have done. Right. We get so wrapped around the cool shit. Oh, this guy's shooting guns. Ooh, cool. But you can do something cool too.
Hey man, if you were a cook, put out some content about being a
I don't
cook.
care about
Right?
that. I
Do
don't
that.
care about, like, American Trigger Pullers is about being somebody that, like, is a supporter of everything sacred and profane. You could be law enforcement, first responder. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We have a large group of people that support what we're all about. It doesn't fucking matter whether you're Ranger, SF, super high speed, fucking. No, dude.
Yeah.
What I like to see is people loving to be Americans, loving to be Second Amendment supporters, loving to get out with the boys and support what's coming next.
Be you.
We live in a real shitty world right now that's going through a transition, and what I like to see is seeing people that have never shot a gun before go out and shoot a gun and then change their mind.
Yep.
Yeah, that's always fun to see that happen.
Change your freaking mind. American Trigger Pullers, the Hooch, everything about all these different companies that are going on is, hey man, all you have to do is appreciate being an American.
Yeah.
Being an American.
That's true.
What we used to go out on the range and love being with the boys, love being
Just doing man shit.
Dude,
Doing man shit.
Do man shit, but also be yourself. You know,
Yeah.
don't try and be something you're not. Have fun being you.
have to be a veteran. You can be a law enforcement, first responder, Second Amendment, Second Amendment supporter. You could just be an American that just loves being an American.
Right.
All right.
Oh yeah, dude.
This.
Speaking of Americans, and
I just wish people would go back to what we used to.
Yeah.
In 2001, when
the towers
someone
came down, yeah.
crashed planes into our fucking twin towers,
and they
We
loved our
have
country.
a short-term memory problem. That's what happened.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want people to find that motivation again to where.
This is actually a pretty good place to segue now with talking about being American. As everybody knows, Gregory Salcido, the California teacher, decided to go on a rant recently and said a bunch of dumb things, which is totally his right on the First Amendment side. He can say that if he wants
in
to,
California.
but it doesn't mean you're not going to get fucked over it. Sorry.
Oh, 100%.
Eric probably has something to say on that. What do you have to
I was
say?
gonna
Send
say,
it.
That dude is a piece of shit. I mean, regardless if you're well educated or you know from right or wrong, that is unacceptable. I mean,
Yeah, no kidding.
you have your own opinion, First Amendment, whatever, but you're disrespecting the whole community that basically, protects your freedoms. And to me, that's just wrong.
Right.
I think that teacher is dumb as fuck. Just realize that even though he's, did you guys realize he's in a fucking public office where he's at? Besides being a teacher, this piece of shit, I don't want to watch someone stomp his fucking wife's head just for marrying that fuckhead.
Right. Well, I've actually got something for us to listen to. I've got the sound bites from it, so we can actually go through it together and listen to at least a good portion of it. I'm missing a couple of things, like the whole pimps and hoes comment. I think that's missing. Just so you know, that was said. It's like recruiters are like pimps. They come into schools and take these kids out like they're hoes. That's basically what it was.
There's for the past 8 years, if not more, we've had people kind of figuring out our identity. We've been in war for 17 years now.
Yeah.
I've spent. So is Mike. Mike spent more than that. What I would say is we got to tighten up our shot group, and the only way that we can tighten our shot group up is by being the example for others to follow.
Absolutely.
And I want others to follow that. It's hard being a father and also seeing other generations before us that, you can't show 12 soldiers in a movie theater without being over masculine. Yep. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I saw that
sweetheart.
one.
I'm sorry, Cupcake. But I would rather my son kick your ass because you called him a bitch than go to detention because he didn't say anything. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. All I'm saying is this is a great country that we live in. We gotta tighten up our shot group, and what it starts with is us doing something, and they're going to shun us all the way.
Yeah,
and that's cool.
I've got quite a bit of things to actually say about this too. But I want to get to the audio so we can listen to it. So just give me a second, and I'll bring that up. And it's going.
So, if you join the military, it's because you have no other options. Because you didn't take care of business academically, because your parents didn't love you enough to push you, and then you didn't love yourself enough to push yourself, which isn't even that hard. It's not even that hard. You just have to focus a little bit. You don't even have to work hard. You just have to focus. And you didn't do it.
You gotta focus.
So now you're thinking, sure, my parents are on my ass to do something. And then your parents even encourage it sometimes. Because they want to get you off of their ass. And they want to get your grandma and grandpa off of their ass because their grandson's a piece of shit. And they want the neighbors to think that you're okay. Oh, Johnny joined the military. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's just so they can get you out of their hair for freaking 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 years. But someone's going to tell you when to get up, when to go to sleep, what to eat, what to wear, when you can crap, when you can call home, when you can go home for 3 days. Why would anyone ever sign up for that? And then they go, well, they're going to pay for my military. They're going to pay for my
I did.
education. Are you aware you have a GPA of 0.0? You're not a student, dude. What makes you think all of a sudden you're going to get turned on to education?
So what I would say is just because you went to a couple of more history classes than I did, can you execute a complex mission 8,000 miles away from home and control 40 plus people plus attachments and go into multiple buildings and multiple theaters and control all those assets and still have command and control? If you can, you should have been. You should have been.
You should have went
military.
Yeah.
Hey, Rod.
If not, you can go fuck yourself.
Rod, what do you think about this?
Yeah, like just hearing part of it right now.
Well, so I don't. I from a personal standpoint, I don't like what he said. Obviously, I'm a veteran. I don't like what this guy's saying about fellow veterans. I don't care if he said it or not. What I care about is that he said it in a classroom.
Yeah, that's
you are
my main problem.
So for me, you're an educator. You should be aware that somebody's mom, somebody's dad is probably deployed.
Yeah.
It should be neutral.
And
you shouldn't even say that. You should be teaching the education instead of talking about.
But that's where we are right now.
At the very most, you should approach the subject in the sense of these things are happening, these are facts, and leave your opinion at the door.
Right.
At the very least, for the kids, they're children. They don't understand your personal point of view. All they know is mom or dad is in a very bad place. People die there, and that should be
or
that should
even
be
worse
enough
if you
for
had
you to not deal with.
If you had a student there where a parent was killed overseas.
Exactly.
Like
so
he didn't even care for that. He didn't even like for
there's
that
no he did not take into account the child. The very basis of your job is the welfare of those kids.
Your job is education.
Exactly.
Right
Your
away.
job is education. Teach me A plus B equals C. 1 plus 2 equals 3. That's it. What bothers me the most is that like you're bringing in all these non-biased opinions and your personal opinions in order to fuck.
He's got an agenda, and that's fine.
Yeah,
have your agenda. I mean, if you believe that every soldier is a moron, cool, more power to you.
You're a moron.
But that's on you. You know what I mean? Like that is, especially if you're a elected official, like Coy said, congratulations, you apparently hate voters.
Yep.
I don't know what to tell you. You don't get to have. Here's the thing: you don't get to have stupid opinions, and everybody has to like you for it. It doesn't work that way. If your opinion sucks, then you have to accept the consequences of people thinking you suck. You have to accept the consequences of a backlash, and you might lose your job.
And see,
And don't be surprised when it happens.
So I actually wrote. I'm hoping to see it on Obsolete soon. I wrote an article about this, and one of the reasons why this whole thing matters in the first place is the fact that this guy's opinion. We all know that people think this and have said this for a long time, but the problem with that is this is a majority opinion now. This isn't just some minority thought, some fringe idea. It is a massive thing that is being not only taught to our kids, it's being taught in colleges, and it's being taught overall that military isn't a viable option. Yeah, it isn't a viable option for anything.
It's not something new. It's being taught to everybody.
Right? And
I
so
heard this.
Just
I heard this when I was joined.
Exactly. This is the thing with this is he only got caught saying it. That's the problem. Right. Nobody else is getting caught on camera or on video saying this stuff. And that's the biggest problem there, is that the only reason people are making a big deal out of it is because he got caught. That's it.
That's the other part.
How do we fix it?
That's part of why I'm glad he said it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm kind of glad he's. Yeah. How do we fix it?
Yeah. How do we fix it?
By action.
Is it us just being pissed off, talking shit, or do we force the legislators to say, hey, this isn't right, because you have a lot of kids out there whose parents are vets, whose parents have died. Some of these kids have died in combat. So for you to sit up here and say, as an educator, you are dumb pretty much.
Yep.
If you join the military, that's just wrong as shit. Because there's a lot of military people.
Like, you got to go through the rest of it.
I was a drill sergeant. I've had people with master's degrees, bachelor's degrees that have joined.
I've met a lot of smart people in the Marine Corps.
And while they're in training, they're doing college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was their break off the line.
Yeah.
And that's why we took people off the line, is to make sure that they got a college education. Exactly. That's what you did. That's what you did.
Yeah.
I don't think this teacher was speaking on behalf of the state, his position, or as a teacher. He was speaking for himself.
Yeah.
He was, and I think there are already rules in place that say you can't do that. It's no different than the teacher going in there and saying, "Hey, let me tell you why Republicans are stupid," or "Hey, let me tell you why Democrats suck."
And again, Rob,
same diff. You're still going to get punished.
Yeah.
It's coming from California, and they're probably going to give him an award. They're going to say, "Oh, we're going to slap him on the hands." Then they're going to give him a Freedom Communications Award for freedom of speech. And no, look what California produces. No offense, but I mean that's just what's coming out of there right now.
Right. Okay. So I want to play the whole clip. We still got another 3 minutes of this left, so I'm gonna play a little bit more, and then we can discuss it just a little bit longer. So here you go.
But you say that just to get people off your back. Most people will actually get off your back. I won't. I'll freaking come on you freaking hard. So I'm like, you can bullshit yourself all you want, man. I don't have any obligation to freaking sit here and listen to your freaking bullshit. Don't go there freaking now. Don't freaking. Some of you guys are still gonna go there. Like, I'm not listening. And people who love you are gonna encourage you to freaking do it. It's freaking good. Because you're gonna be desperate. You're gonna need to jump out of the 100-story window because you have no other option. And that's it. Why are you winning that Marine shirt? I thought you were going to college.
I am, at least.
Well, what if you had a shirt that says "I love freaking pee-pee"? You wear that? No, that's where you got a limit. Hey.
So I'm gonna point something out really quick on this. Is he's berating his student also in front of all of his other classmates at the same time. How is that not considered bullying right there for calling out what he's wearing and then basically calling him stupid the whole time?
Amen.
Oh, he's losing his job.
Amen.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, political stuff aside, he made a sexual comment there, didn't he?
That's not the first one he makes either.
Yes,
There's more. Okay, so I'll play.
I didn't hear what he said.
Hold on. Hold on. Eric's gonna chime in.
What did he say? I didn't really catch it.
Something about something with basically wearing a dick shirt. I think is what it was. And something about that. I could barely hear it myself.
Something about
here's what I don't get.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout history, throughout years and years before Donald Trump's got elected, people have served this country.
Yep.
And you haven't heard this type of rhetoric until Donald Trump got elected. You never heard this really before Donald Trump. Yes, there were
it was said behind closed doors. Nobody said it out loud.
It was said behind closed doors, but now these people are stupid enough to say it in the open. And they forget that everyone has a phone. Everything is video.
Receipts,
Everything
man.
is recorded.
Receipts.
Yeah. So I just don't get it. And you can't blame these young kids that joined the military. I was a young kid that joined the military, 19 years old.
I was 18 when I
We
went
also
in.
watched the Twin Towers fall.
Yeah. And Twin Towers fell. You was 18. I was 19, man. Yeah. I had other options.
You came in Mogadishu era.
Yeah, Mogadishu. Yeah, I was around
Okay.
that era, 1995 era.
Okay, my brother was wounded in Mogadishu,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like, hey, fuck. Here we are. It's 2001. I'm in English class.
Yeah.
First period, 9:30 a.m. and you watch.
I was in Germany.
Yeah, you watch a bunch of towers fall, and it's kind of like shit. where am I?
It's gonna drive you, and that's one of the things that I said. Here's some more, just so we can get a little bit more pissed off.
Like, why would you wear something that you can't freaking afford? I'm gonna wear it. You wear it here, I'm gonna get a shirt maybe. As soon as I Alright. Alright. We have electricity. We got all our freaking night vision goggles, all that kind of stuff, and we can't freaking control these dudes wearing freaking robes and chanclas. Because we got a bunch of dumb shits over there. Think about the people who you know are over there. Your freaking stupid Uncle Louie or whatever.
Bunch of dumb shits.
Yeah,
They're not
that's what he said. Yeah.
I would like to see you like plan and organize a mission 8,000 miles away from your home, in multiple buildings, in multiple theaters, and try and have command and control.
Are we gonna start calling you Uncle Louie, Dino? Your Uncle Louie?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. Rod's sitting up there.
Angry Uncle Louie.
Yeah, Rod's sitting up there rubbing his head. What do you have to say, bro?
Yeah.
I mean, I heard this when I first joined back in 2000. I heard the same thing.
Yeah.
People told me, like, why are you doing that? Only stupid people join the military. You're going to go kill people and all this other stuff. I'm glad that people like him are so vocal now for the exact reasons that Mike said, that there are cameras. It's the same reason everyone's like, there's so much more racism today. No.
Same amount. It's just getting caught on
It's the
camera.
same amount. It's just there's more cameras. You're being exposed for the racist that you are. You're being exposed for being the idiot that you are. Congratulations. Like,
exactly.
I think the voters, because he's a city councilman.
Yep.
He was the mayor for a while. All these people are going, you what? Oh,
excuse me? No.
F you. I don't want that. Or like Kai said, maybe they are for that. Maybe that community is like, we support your shitty beliefs.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're entitled to do that. If you elect this guy, okay, I don't live in your community, and if I did, I would leave because that's not where I would want to raise my family. That's not my values.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
I'll bring up a point. It's should I do it?
Do it.
Okay. So what I brought up to I went to college. I'm not going to go back to it, especially here, and in a city that will leave unannounced.
No, we're in Austin.
Austin,
We're a bunch of
But
they know where we are.
how long does it take to graduate from high school?
From high school, like high school, like it's supposed to.
Yeah,
be
like if
4
you
years
if you
from
want to go to high
freshman
school,
yeah,
how long does it take you to graduate high school?
yeah, 4 years generally.
Okay. How long does it take you to graduate a bachelor's degree?
4 years. Generally, 4 to 5
What's
years.
What's 4 plus 4?
It's 8.
8.
Yes.
How long was Obama president?
8. Damn, dude. That's some fucking Nostradamus shit.
I wouldn't put it all at
How long
his
is
feet. I mean,
Trump gonna be president
this
for?
ideology. I'll put it
8?
like this: this ideology has existed during the times of
Just saying.
make
Is it-
love and hippie
we-
era, like during Vietnam. Like this comes from Vietnam era
Is that wrong?
ideals that is being fed through the education system because all the people that were kids then are now teachers and educators, right? Intellectuals, as we call them. They're the East Coast
Dude,
and
they
West
could be
Coast
the first
intellectuals.
4 or the last 4. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
But I'm gonna play the rest of it, and then we can talk about it a little bit more, and then go to our Blue Falcon story, which I think I'm going to ask Rod if he's got one for us. So you think about that while we're playing the rest.
High-level thinkers. They're not academic people. They're not intellectual people. They're the freaking lowest of our low, not morally. You know, I'm not saying they make moral decisions. Just they're not talented people. That's why I care when presidents always says we are the best military in the world. Presidents will all say that, whether it was Obama, whether it's anybody. I was like, no, we don't. The data is in. We don't have a good military. We haven't been able to beat these guys wearing freaking robes and chanclas for 15 years. And you're telling me we couldn't beat the Vietnamese? There are a bunch of people this freaking big going rice at us. Couldn't freaking beat them. We haven't been able to beat anyone since World War II because we had a freaking bitchin' bomb.
What do you
We
know?
didn't get to Hitler first. The Russians got to Hitler first. We don't. Like it's a lie that our military is freaking bitching. I think I always crack up. How come when you go like Rose Bowl, Rose Parade, Dodger opening day, why after the national anthem do we have a killing machine fly over the freaking stadium? You know, the stealth bomber comes in, everyone's yeah.
What do you know?
He doesn't know.
What do you know? Like, how can you speak on behalf of that?
Oh my God.
And I was like, fuck.
You live in your bubble,
Yeah.
bro.
So like
Exactly.
that's pretty much the end of
You
it.
live in your bubble, bro.
He lives in his echo chamber, dude.
What do you know? Like, were you a contractor? Did you work for the State Department? Did you work for the DOD?
only thing that I
You
know
know
is-
how hard and difficult it is
Hold
to
on.
actually conduct warfare operations in the first place? Like, Jesus.
Well, he's making a lot of races. Yeah,
The whole situation
Yeah, that too.
is Gregory Salcido has information that would indict Hillary Clinton on espionage charges.
Yep. Eric.
I was going to say he's one of those guys that had their kindergarten kids write letters to the soldiers. Like, oh, I'm doing great things.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you, Yeah. soldier. I love you. Yeah,
Get the
that's
fuck
cool.
out of here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, just listen to what he's saying. He's, he wants. In one hand, he wants to stay in this this moral high ground of these killing machines flying over us and all this stuff. And that's cute. I like your moral high ground attempt, but you can't do it at the same time you make racist comments
Right.
about Vietnamese throwing rice at you and Arabs in their robes and their chanclas. You don't get to be a racist piece of shit and have moral high ground.
Right.
You
I
Exactly.
know.
don't get that. You
But isn't
lost
that
the
like-
fucking
What's funny is
good
the mainstream media isn't actually calling him out for being a racist. They're only saying that he said bad things about the military. He's
I don't care
anti-military.
if you're racist. I got into an argument the other night with a guy. Really good dude. I love him to death, but he's really biased. And I'm like, hey, were you ever a contractor? Did you work for the State Department? Have you ever done counterterrorism? Have you ever done counter-targeting? Like, have you ever worked for any of those things? Then, I read this in an article.
I read it on the Huffington Post.
I read it in the Onion. I read it in the Onion.
Because everyone knows that HuffPo is the most reliable source.
Because you read it doesn't make it true. Like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up, dude.
Exactly.
And-
Like, unless you're there, unless you've done something, unless you've been the guy on the ground that's the dude that's throwing bullets downrange, you don't have any fucking legitimacy.
Well, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
you
I
got
think
no
this
clue.
guy he's gotten he's been put on like suspension or whatever, leave, whatever
he's
for his
done.
comment.
Like, he's done.
He's done,
honestly.
dude. Like, this dude is done.
He's not
and
going to survive.
I literally hate for fellow Americans to lose their job based off their, freedom of speech.
Yeah,
But
What I hate to see is just like his poor kids.
yeah,
Yeah.
his
poor
kids,
wife.
and I would love to see his kid join the Marine Corps. I would love it. I would
Smack him in
love
the face,
to fucking
like-
see that shit.
Let me
Because
tell you
he
something.
makes it to MARSOC or he makes it to Drew Buds.
And
he's like, Daddy,
Daddy. Literally, like my kid here. All of us are dads
Yeah.
in here,
Yeah,
except
yeah.
for
How do you know?
we're
they won't let him
this one right
reproduce.
here.
Right.
This one right here,
Well,
not a
shit,
dad.
I don't have any kids that I know
But
of.
They won't let him
We-
reproduce.
Hang on a second, guys. I gotta step right there. Rod, you had something you were gonna add to this. I want to hear it.
No. I was just gonna say, it's funny because Yes, it sucks that he's losing his family. Oh, he's gonna do all this stuff. But let me tell you something that I tell every person, every entrepreneur that comes on my show. I always tell them the same thing. I say, anything you say on this podcast, I don't edit for content. I only edit for time.
Exactly.
Amen.
So if you come on this podcast and you say some wild shit, it's gonna get published.
Yeah.
So don't come on the show talking about like, oh, we sell these wonderful T-shirts. You're gonna love these T-shirts. I don't sell them to black people, but mostly you're gonna love these T-shirts. What?
Wow. Yeah.
What did you say about black people? You said something about black people.
You are apparently going out of business. Thank you.
You're just a lighter version of Michael.
Like we do the same thing here at the Hooch. Like we don't edit. Like if we don't have to, we don't. Like we just do it for time, obviously. But this is a live show. Like it doesn't get any more unedited than that, man.
Take responsibility for the words that come out of your mouth. Yeah. If you're the sole person if you're the sole earner for your family, if your kids depend on their food depends on your work, then you need to be responsible about the words that come out of your mouth.
I'll also say is like be accountable for your actions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And if you're gonna say it, mean it.
Own it.
Yeah. Own that.
Own it. So, own it.
And I want to bring something else up is that Mike asked a legitimate question. So like, how do we stop this from happening again? Like how do we bring this to a point that it actually gets resolved? Like what can we do as vets to fix that? Like I know a lot of it has to do with ignorance about the military itself. I mean, it's all out there, and a lot of the problems stem from Hollywood with movies that aren't portraying real military.
It's simple.
Okay.
You have to continue to pay it forward. Like we're all veteran entrepreneurs. Okay. If Mike needs something and he tells me, hey man, I need you, I got you.
Yep.
Period. The end. That's it.
Yep.
Well,
that's it. That's all I need.
That's all I need. That's for us. Like I'm talking about how do we get our civilian counterparts to
other
understand.
People need to understand that.
Okay.
Because
I didn't see where you're going with that.
They're losing that little bit.
Okay.
That little bit of value of, hey man, what do you need? What do you need from me? If I have something that I can give to you, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that. You're talking about actual community values. Like a lot of things that have happened, especially in the United States, is like nobody knows who their neighbor is. Nobody cares about who the other person is, or it would be inconvenient to go help somebody because they happen to be stranded somewhere. That's still not that way.
A lot of other businesses have created that little bit of discrepancy of like, hey man, do I trust this dude? Hey man, do I do this? Right. Do I don't do that? Where am I? No, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. All right, Rod, what do you think? Like, what do you think we could do?
There's nothing to do.
No?
I don't think there's anything to do. I think that we're talking about a grown-ass man with information, knowledge. He's been to school. He's not ignorant.
Yep.
He knows what he's saying. He knows what his belief system is. Congratulations. All we can do, I think, is use the existing rules, use the existing laws, and if you're an elected official, don't vote for him. If he's hired if he's a public office holder, like city council, remove him. But that's it. He
shouldn't be in the school system. Period.
No.
If that's what he's teaching our kids, I'm sorry.
And if there aren't, and here's the thing: if there are no rules in that school, for example, that say you cannot bring in your personal biases and all, then they need to put those rules in there because that just makes sense. And if he did break those rules, he needs to be ejected.
I grew up in California, so I grew up in Long Beach, California. I went to Millikan High School in Long Beach, California. So I remember when I got a scholarship. A lot of people don't know that I got a scholarship to Cal State Long Beach for military science. So I remember telling one of my teachers, and he was my teacher through just about all of high school. I went through all his classes. So when I told him, he kind of looked at me. He goes, military science? What do you mean, military science? You're smarter than that. I was like, well, I got a scholarship, military science. So he goes, well, good luck with that. I was like, oh,
what
shit.
A dick.
Holy shit, this guy. So I ended up going and everything, but even back then in the 90s, Californians hated the military. Yeah. It's true, I went through it. So I can understand, what this guy, where he's going. He believes that the military is a system of supremacy, but he has to understand. And whatnot. Yeah, there's always a but. You can't tell kids who believe in, fighting for their country and having that outlet where their parents are probably poor. I'm not saying everyone.
No, I mean, I was in that same boat, man.
Yeah, their parents are poor, and this is their outlet. Hey, we can get you college money. Just do 4 years. Boom, I'm going to do it.
And I just finished my degree because of that.
Yeah, so, I mean, for him to tell kids that, I mean, this dude needs to be slapped in the face.
Dude, I'll tell you a personal anecdote from this, is that, look, if I would have gone to college when I was younger, I wouldn't have made it. I would have quit. I would have dropped out. I'd be still fucking flipping burgers somewhere. I don't know, man. But the point is that, me going in the military made me grow up. It made me become more mature. It made me ready when it was my time to go to college to actually push through it and make it. Like, there's nothing wrong with going in the military, growing the fuck up, and then, moving on and doing better things. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I would tell any young person out there watching, I would never tell my kid not to join the military.
Yeah, no.
Now, would I tell my kid that's your first option? Hell no, because he has other options. Yeah. But if he came to me and said, Dad, I want to join the Marine Corps, I'd be like, fuck no, join the Army. But, I would never tell him not to join the military. If you want to join the Marine Corps, do it, dude. Yeah. It made my life. It made me the
Marine Corps, really?
Yes.
Well, I'm in that position right now.
I would be totally against him joining the Marine Corps.
No, fuck that. I'll tell him to join the Air Force.
No, I would.
The women are hotter.
Coast Guard.
There's only two branches I would allow my son to join. That's the Army or the Marine Corps. That's the only two.
So, Rod, you have kids right now about ready to get in that to the decision?
I have an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Okay.
And we're having those talks because my 18-year-old fucked up his high school years, and I told him, and here's my rule. I told him very plain, straight out. Look, man, when you're 18, you either have a college. If you have a college plan, if you got a scholarship and you got a college plan, you can live with mom and dad while you're going to college because I want you to focus on college.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't have a college plan, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now I will help you join the military, but you're gone.
Yeah, you get it's kicking the chick out of the nest, man.
Exactly.
So we're talking about that right now because he doesn't have a college plan, obviously, and he's apprehensive about joining the military. And I just told him all the good things about it. But as a dad, do I want my children to join the military?
Yeah.
Not really,
different
because
and
I'll tell you why. Because I'm a dad. I love my kids. I don't want them to get shot at.
Yeah,
I got
to suffer
shot
the
at.
way you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I already did that.
That's my only
for
son.
Them.
Yeah.
I drove convoys getting blown up for them. They don't need to do that.
Exactly.
I would rather them do anything else safe and happy but smart. Now, do I think they got something to gain from it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If they go join the military, they will become men. They will become men faster than your average civilian, and they will learn how to operate 8,000 miles away in different theaters with 40 guys in detachments.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I completely agree with you on that. So kind of like we're a little running over our usual time, but I want to get a Blue Falcon story from you, Rod.
Oh, here we go.
If I can.
Give me an example of a Blue Falcon story. What are we talking about
You know
here?
what a Blue Falcon story is.
A
story that either you heard of or someone personally did to you.
Airborne.
Oh, man. Where I got Blue Falconed?
Yes.
This actually happened recently, like last week.
Like it wasn't back in the day?
No. This actually happened last week, and it pissed me off because I just came back from I'm a contractor. I just came back from deployment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I was hiding out in the office, and apparently nobody knew who I was because I'd been gone for so long. And it was great, man. I was skating through a couple of days, and then somebody was like, really loud, and it was a little too intentional. Hey, Rod, didn't know you got back. And I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Rod.
Just took off the... Dude, he just waved away the invisible dust, and I was like, dude. And then I got hit for stuff. I'm like, God, you bastards, why?
Like nobody knew you were back, and they're just like, yeah, now you got to do stuff. That sucks.
Yeah, I'm out the door again in next month, actually.
Oh,
So,
have
yeah.
fun with that, man. Okay, so Dino, like your turn. What do you got?
Blue Falcon?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Falcon story.
Oh, shit. How many credit cards do we have?
Old school, new school.
How many blue?
What'd you
only
say?
did 4 years, motherfucker.
Huh?
Huh?
No, I didn't say me. I said GD.
What? Yeah, that's another Blue Falcon.
Talk
I'm gonna reserve and take the fifth.
Okay, next then. There you go.
Yeah.
I am short on Blue Falcon.
My last Blue Falcon story was when Coy grabbed me from behind when I was taking a pee, and I looked at him
That was
saying,
me.
Did not happen. This is
Was me.
fake news. Fake news.
It wasn't him.
"Oh, that was
Oh,
Dino."
man. That was
Sorry.
funny. Okay, well, since we don't have any other ones, I want to thank Rod for coming on and the rest of our guests for showing
Rob,
up and
man.
chilling.
Rod.
Rod.
You know,
I said Rod.
we will be
said
back next week with another episode. Don't have the topics just yet, but definitely check out a lot of our other live streams. We have tons of videos you can watch, lots of content, like hours of content that you can go on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you want to get it and just watch us. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
Hey, Coy,
Hmm.
one last thing.
What's it?
One last thing. Hey, if you're interested in watching the After Action Review podcast, I am at www.theaarpodcast.com, Facebook/The AAR Podcast. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. And if you're not on Anchor, go download the Anchor app right now, the AAR Blogcast twice a week. And I've got a book giveaway coming up in the next week.
Nice.
The new Gary Vaynerchuk, Crushing It. I got 5 copies I'm going to be giving out
Vaynerchuk
the
is
next
the
couple
shit.
of weeks. So check it out, the After Action Review podcast. I'm available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you get your favorite podcast from.
See, I was gonna give you time to plug,
Yes.
but you're like, you couldn't be patient. You couldn't let me finish my plug first. Thanks.
Actually,
Thanks, Brad.
your plug. Yeah, actually, that was the AAR podcast. Was the very first podcast I
Yeah.
was on.
Yep.
See.
That's true.
That Coy shit.
Yep.
Yep.
That was number one.
Okay, so let's get the other shameless plug out of the way. Go ahead, Dino. Get yours.
Talk about the company.
What? You can go to AmericanTriggerPullers.com. Hey guys, we're just trying to push out real good content for real American patriots. American Trigger Pullers. It speaks for itself. If you get an idea, you got something you want to see done up. Yes, we are an apparel company, but we care about the boys. We care about the way of life. I'll be out here doing constructive fucking shooting, dude. Yeah, dude. We're gonna be flying out of a helicopter this weekend,
Nice.
shooting shit. If you want to come and hang out here in Austin, come hang out with the boys. We're all about paying it forward. We're all about this name brand.
Exactly.
Make it happen, dude.
All
Period.
right. So I guess I get. Wait, before we start, are we good? Can I finish mine? Can I?
Sir.
Okay. Okay.
Do it. Do you?
Anyway, so we love you, America. We are happy that you like what we're doing. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to be pushing more stuff out as time goes on. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, pretty much anywhere. Like, we got
Periscope.
Twitch, Periscope,
YouTube.
Mixer. We're on all these things. Check us out. Hooch G on Mixer and Twitch. Everywhere else, it's the Hooch Podcast. Anyway, you guys stay frosty, stay safe, have fun, and
Stay savage.
stay savage, yes. And we love you guys, and we are
Out.
Welcome to the Hooch. We're the only place more messed up than your